And welcome to the Bobcats Coaches Show on Super Talk 1270 and Facebook Live from the Tap-In Tavern in Bismarck. Glad to have you with us. Bismarck Bobcats are home this week on Saturday, on the road tomorrow and Friday. A whole dose of Minot, 3 games in 3 days. Bobcats hosting them on New Year's Eve. Tickets on sale at bismarckbobcats.com. Before we get to head coach Layne Sedevie and players, first a reminder, our next chance of an offering to win a $1 million home to one lucky fan is in 2 weeks. Our drawing on January 12th in advance of the Bobcats home game against North Iowa. Bismarck Bobcats and our 4 great sponsors, Front Street Millwork and Lumber, Paramount Builders Incorporated, Knife River Corporation, and Interiors by Design, are combining to give 4 fans throughout the course of the year an opportunity to shoot a puck and win a $1 million home at 4 of our home games. Again, our next drawing is in 2 weeks. Just scan a QR code on our Facebook page or text the word WINNER to 855-637-3104. That number and information are on our Facebook page, as is this broadcast. And now Layne Sedevie joining us on the Bobcats Coaches Show. You know, I thought for sure going to sunny Arizona, one of the few Bobcats players or coaches that could escape to warm weather, you would just take up a home there and not even come back to the cold.
Yeah, I mean, it would have been nice. I probably wouldn't have got sick, but yeah, I mean, it was a nice little break. I don't know. Arizona's nice, but I don't. Honestly, Corey, I think I'd rather have either skiing in the mountains for a vacation destination. I know I'm probably going to get a lot of naysayers on this one. I know a lot of people love Arizona because it's a quick flight out of here, right? But I think probably, I don't know, Cabo or somewhere where there's ocean or the mountains to me is a more desirable getaway for a vacation. But it was nice.
Where do people from Bismarck go skiing? All the way in Colorado?
Yeah, I would say a lot of them go to Colorado. I mean, you know, I think like 6.5 hours. You know, probably 7.5 out to Red Lodge and then down to Pier. You know, so there's some options, but yeah, I mean, if you're really going to go skiing, when my brother lived in Colorado Springs, I mean, he had the mountain pass, so Breckenridge, all those places, A Basin. I mean, it was legit.
You ever do Vail or Aspen?
He has. I haven't. Said they're beautiful. I've been to Vail. A former player that was on our national championship team, Casey Kleisinger, lived in Vail. So through our way, we had camp after winning it out in Wenatchee. We actually went through Vail and stayed at Casey's house down to our camp the following weekend after the national championship. So I've been there, never skied though.
Was that the story of you, Rother, in a rental car? Was it that trip?
Nope. That was we actually went skiing with my brother at A Basin, and that was the first time Rother had ever skied.
The first time he'd ever skied, a Chicago kid?
We actually got to the top of the mountain, and A Basin is very steep. It's one of the steeper mountains I've been on. It's not by far not one of the biggest. It's a fun place, but he got to the top of the mountain, and I'm like, all right. My brother's like Mr. Technical and trying to teach him all this stuff, and he literally gets off the chairlift, points his skis, and makes it all the way to the bottom of the mountain without falling. Pretty impressive, not gonna lie.
Is that a double diamond?
No, it was not. We were on like a green or a blue, which is very, you know, moderate. But then my brother thought, you know, after halfway through the day, we'd go all the way up to the top, and we got to the top, and I'm telling you, Corey, I looked down, I was like, there's no way I'm getting down. And Rother just sent it, and he rolled about, I don't know, probably 150 yards when he got to the bottom. His sleeves on his jacket were packed with snow, and his sleeves were all the way up to his arms. So, yeah, he's got no fear. I'll give him that. But, yeah, I mean, it was a lot of fun.
A Colorado green is like, I don't know, a Pennsylvania double diamond.
Probably.
Colorado greens and blues are next level.
I mean, they're more flowing, I would say, of what I know. You know, I've accidentally went down like a black diamond that had moguls in it in Colorado, and it's just, I got to the bottom, and I needed a hot tub and an ice bath the next probably rest of the day and sit in the bar because I was shot. I mean, they're legit, and obviously some people are just extremely good at it.
What'd you do in Arizona?
We actually went to a Phoenix Sun game. Was really disappointed. I mean, I'm again being, I guess, vocal on this channel right now, but I'm not a LeBron James fan. I do appreciate seeing the greatest, or, you know, in that talk at sports, but he sat out and sat on the bench, so I was a little disappointed in that. But So went to his son's game, and then just kind of hung out by the pool and not a top golf. Yeah, it was a good trip.
So not a fan of load management for pro athletes.
No, not in basketball. I mean, I don't know.
Well, we have a 3-3. You might have to do some load managing this week.
Yeah, don't have the option, so you just play.
All right. Anyway, Layne Sedevie's back in town. Bobcats are back in town. 3-3 against Minot Thursday, Friday on the road in Minot. Back-to-back road trips up there, and Saturday, New Year's Eve back here. For those who don't know, Bobcats beat Minot 6-3 before the winter break on December 17th. I know that game's 2 weeks in the past, but a good way aside from that little spurt in the third period where the Bobcats took their foot off the gas and the Toros scored 3 goals in 3 minutes. It was all Bobcats aside from that, and a good way to close the week and really the first half.
Yeah, it was big 2 points. I mean, I think it would have been nice to play because now you get, obviously, you come off break and now you have 3-3. So you always have to make up that game. So, I think you're always hoping to play, whether it's there or here. It doesn't really matter. You're always wanting to play those games. But obviously Mother Nature's had a little different path this winter, and that's stuff that you can't control. So yeah, it was good. I mean, felt like we played well until we thought it was going to be easy, and then they kind of stung us, and power play executed when we needed to, and scored a big goal and created that separation. But again, it was more good than bad, and found a way to get 2 points. And obviously it's big 2 points because we got them for three in a row here.
So going into a 3-3 then, only a short week. Your players get back on Monday, first practice on Tuesday. So 2 practices, a morning skate, and then 3 games in 3 consecutive nights. Only 1 long-term injury, but you only have 1 goaltender, Hunter Garvey, and not too many players, especially forwards, on the bench for you guys. Do you have an approach in mind for how you will take on this 3-3 for the first time this year?
Win.
That'd be nice.
Yep, that's my approach. We played 4-4 at the showcase, and I always go back to that, and I think that's just crazy. I think 3-3 is it's not great, but it's manageable. It's part of I would say that somewhat of the norm in junior hockey. So I've had and I've seen goalies play 4-4. I'm not too worried about it. Other than that, I mean, they're in the same boat. So that's maybe the different dynamic at the showcase. Maybe somebody gets per se an easier game, and they can rest guys, but it's still 4-4. So 3-3, it is what it is, and you want to get off to a good start.
There is no easy game, though, when it's a 4-point swing in divisional play. You can pass Minot if you win all 3 games potentially. And Minot's not going to give you an easy night. So a 4-4 in the showcase against a 3-3 here are 2 somewhat different things.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're different, in probably a lot of respects. But, again, it's to me it is what it is. And, we hopefully our guys, enjoyed their break and are ready to go.
Talking with Layne Sedevie, Bobcats head coach, on the Bobcats Coaches Show.
Try not to get you sick.
You're excused.
Wow.
That was a big one. So, as far as Saturday's game is concerned, when the Bobcats had a 3-4 in Minot and Aberdeen back in November, that third game, even though they had the day in between on Thursday for Thanksgiving, was not a game of slower legs and dump and chase. Does a 3-3 potentially lend itself to that?
Yeah, I mean, I think you can, you play that by kind of feel. I think it's one of those things where you've gotten into, I've kind of pulled our guys back, change forecheck, not pursue as hard, try and create more turnover transition offense instead of being, high pressure and that sort of stuff. But to me, that's, ideally you want to get off to a good start. You want to get, the first 4 points and then see where you can manage and see how guys have jump at the start of that third game. The third game would be the one where you change something, in my opinion, to maybe back guys off a little bit in certain areas. But yeah, it really, to me, it is what it is. I don't, maybe, I guess when you look at it, I mean, we're on the ice for 2 weeks and we play 4-4. Now we've been on the ice for, almost 4 months, and you play 3-3. So I don't think it's a big deal.
That's tough to think about. your team pulling back the forecheck and the taking away time and space. That's the one thing that other teams, when they ask their coaches, what do you see in the Bobcats? It's that. Skillful players that can take away time and space in all three zones. Pulling that back is kind of incomprehensible given the way you guys have gotten better on the forecheck this year.
Yeah, I mean that's that's the way we're playing right now, and that's I think we create a lot of turnovers and we create a lot of havoc, and we create zone time and good scoring chances with that. So, but again, I mean you see it at the NHL. I mean they'll pull back, and the best players in the world, obviously they're extremely talented, but they will. There is a time and a place to sit back a little bit, and it's one of those things where you say don't beat yourself. Well, sometimes if you don't have the legs and you're too aggressive, you don't get to your spots. They just beat you with one pass. Well, if you pull back and you're in good spots and you can think the game, then you create turnovers, and if you're opportunistic off those turnovers, it's hard to beat.
How much more free-flowing is a league like the North American League as opposed to, say, major juniors like, Reller was talking to me about how in the WHL where he was, that's major juniors, everything is all about structure. You know where the other team's going to be, you know where you're going to be. It's not thinking the game free-flowing. How much different is that here at this level?
Well, to me, it's I think the WHL game is more of like an NHL game. It's more, you just see it every time. It's like, I think their coaches probably, I don't want to say they tell them what to do, but it's pretty close to that. I mean, you just see the the D-to-D hinge play up the ice, just like the NHL, and I think it. I think probably the North American League game, even in the USHL, I think college is so fast and push the pace that, you're trying to me, the game has turned into, transition so much. And, but again, I mean, I think it's one of those things where you can harp and harp and harp and harp on structure. And I'm a firm believer in structure. We have structure, but I also like to have I let our guys have freedom. I think it's what, creates creativity in the game. I think it's what leads to offense. So it's maybe a little more, I would say maybe forgiving on the, my coach at Bemidji State always said work hard, work smart. Maybe a little more freedom here versus what like Rells is talking about. But again, if we don't hit our spots, even on our forecheck, we're beat. And that's, you see that even in our neutral zone. I mean, we run a 1-2-2. If you don't know where your guy is and we have two guys pursuing, we get beat with one pass. So, I think you still see the structure at every level. But again, I do like our guys to have a little freedom.
Do you often see guys maybe earlier in their Bobcat careers that have a lot of talent? You can see it. They've been talented in high school and AAA. But with more creativity, more freedom against tougher competition, it takes them a while.
Yeah, I mean, I think so. I mean, I think it's. I also think it's how players really develop too. They make mistakes, they learn from their mistakes, and they grow into a better player. I mean, that's one reason why I just don't. I don't believe in our D just rimming pucks and getting it up off the glass. There's a time and a place for that, sure. But I want those guys to get back there, get the back of the net, and try and make plays. I think that's just how they develop. I think every kid, when they get to junior hockey, it's a transition period. Whether it's AAA, high school, I think it's just hard, and some kids just transition better than others.
New Year's Eve coming up on Saturday. Bobcats hosting Minot for the 9th consecutive year on New Year's Eve. 7:15 start time. BismarckBobcats.com for tickets. Post-game fireworks show, post-game jersey auction, and the best rivalry in the entire North American League coming back to Bismarck. We talked about it last coach's show 2 weeks ago, how the then 2-game series, then eventually 1 game with Minot was so big because standings points are on the line, standings positions are on the line, and they will be this weekend, and that was coming off a bye week. Now you're coming off only 1 game played in your last 3 weeks. That was a win against Minot, 6-3, but only 1 game played in your last 3 weeks, so the rust could certainly take effect. It did not 2 weeks ago. And this is a series where you guys could jump up to 3rd place and pass Minot in the process if you win all 6 points. Is that a concern at all?
I mean, I don't think there's. I mean, yeah, there's definitely concerns, but again, felt like we had momentum going into our first bye week this year, and I think it hurt us. And last week or a couple weeks ago, I felt like we were pretty fresh. I just tried to harp on the guys to make sure that we worked, and I thought we did for the most part, and got rewarded for it. And it really is, to me, this 3-3 is no different. I mean, um, you got to outwork the other team. If you do that, you're in a good spot. So if you keep it simple, get it deep, get it behind their D, pressure their D, and really just not try and overcomplicate the game, I think we'll have a good chance. So I mean, that's probably the little things that obviously matter a lot that people probably don't see. But when you're coming off of quite a bit of time not playing, where you feel like you're in a rhythm, I think it's extremely important to keep the game simple, at least for the first 10 minutes. Get a feel for the game, get involved in the game, and just not try and do too much.
What does New Year's Eve, the sellout crowd, the Minot rivalry, biggest game of the year for the organization in the regular season, what does New Year's Eve mean to this Bobcat team?
Well, I think it's just I think it's obviously been a very a very fun night. I think it's kind of grown over the years. I tell you what, though, our fans have been phenomenal this year. I mean, it's been crazy. I think I don't know if I remember it, or this early in the year. I feel like there's obviously a lot of stuff going on with high school football, basketball, all that sort of stuff in town. But our building's been packed for the first half of the year. So, I think New Year's is it's kind of the cap to me on the first half for when I look at it, and really sets you up for the stretch. So obviously I think if you're looking at Minot going into this weekend, or you're looking at Bismarck going this weekend, they're probably feeling pretty good. They play 2 at home, we play 1 at home, but I know Saturday night's going to be a rocking place and a lot of fun. I just think that's the cool part about players that come from all over the world, and the fan support that we get from Bismarck, Mandan, and really a lot of small towns around too that have supported this product for so long.
Would you rather play, and this is a biased question, would you rather play in a rink like Minot, not necessarily packed, but a nice rink, or the kind of basement, homey style feel of the VFW, but the fans pack the rink every night?
VFW.
Good answer.
Yeah, I went from playing at the Bemidji State, when I played at Bemidji State, to John Glass, and we played UND, and it was one of the funnest atmospheres. And the next night we played in the Ralph, and James Mason, who obviously is part owner of the bar we're sitting in right now, one of my best friends, standing in the slot at the Ralph, and I'm talking to Mace while he's got the puck. I mean, it's crazy how you could hear. Obviously the Ralph gets loud. It's not what I'm saying, but those small venues that get. I don't know if it's how high the roof is and the acoustics, but those smaller buildings tend to get extremely loud, and I think it's one of those things where obviously the VFW is getting old, and at some point there's probably comes a time and a place for a different venue, but I do think our building is as far as one of the toughest places to play. It's because it's smaller and we have great fan support.
That's the one thing that NHL rinks are kind of lacking as they get newer and newer. A true intimidating building, like the Nassau Coliseum or the Spectrum in Philadelphia. You can go on and on, the mall in Minnesota. Places that people do not want to come to play because it's just like that.
Yeah, and I think that's, I haven't been to a game in Winnipeg, but, I don't think it's as big as some of the buildings around the league, but it's the loudest building, and I think there's something to be said about that. I mean, that's you're going to laugh at this, but so the Phoenix Suns, the last time I was at a Suns game was probably 7-8 years ago, and they got a completely renovated building. It's a beautiful building now. I don't know what it holds, 17,000, 18,000, and it was a great crowd, really good crowd. I think probably a lot of people were there to see the Lakers, and a lot of Lakers fans. But in the fourth quarter, if an opposing player misses 2 free throws, everybody gets Chick-fil-A. And I'm telling you, Corey, like when that player went up for those free throws, it was unbelievable. Like it almost gave me chills, and that's probably the sports guy in me. But I think that's what that's what you're, it's great. Probably if you're in the NFL, and you can get 80,000 people. It doesn't matter how big you get because that's the amount of people there. But again, I think some of some of the crowds and some of the buildings they're just too big.
The 76ers have that too in Philadelphia. Player misses 2 free throws in the second half, it's free Chick-fil-A.
It's legit.
It is legit.
It's legit. I was trying to think of a way to get to get Chick-fil-A on board as a sponsor, and I don't know, maybe I was thinking shootout, obviously, where it's one-on-one, but I don't know. I thought it was brilliant, and the place just went cuckoo.
How about if the Bobcats, I don't know, score a power play goal in the third period? Just something crazy like that. It has to happen not often enough to make it profitable. That's the thing.
Right. So that's the kicker. So what is what are the percent? And that's what I'd like to know. That's when I'm sitting there as a whatever head coach, general manager, and the side of sponsorship. But what are the odds of that actually happening? At that level, I guess you're probably hoping the center gets fouled and Shaq shooting the ball or something. No disrespect, Shaq. I know you're not going to listen to this broadcast, but I don't know. I mean, you're right. The probability has got to be very, very small. But I thought it was awesome.
Your power play is number 6 in the entire league, by the way, 23%. So more Chick-fil-A if that's the promotion, even though it's not going to be.
Yeah, power play's been okay. It's been okay. I'm happy with it. I think there's still some. I feel like we need a little urgency at times. Not forcing pucks, but again, I feel like lately, when we've needed a big goal, they've answered it.
What'd you get for Christmas?
Running shoes.
Running shoes.
Yep.
So you ran a marathon in old running shoes?
Nope, but I only wear them for one marathon, and I'm gonna run in these shoes probably one long run before the marathon and run in them, and I'll probably do some training runs in my old shoes, but yeah, it's crazy. I mean, since I started running, the shoe technology has gotten to be pretty wild. The shoes are, it's kind of gotten crazy, $275, and you don't want to wear them before your race because they don't have the same feel as that first time, and with the cushion and the carbon plate in them. But yeah, I mean, Christmas was good. How was your Christmas?
Not bad. I got clothes too.
Yeah, I mean,
we're at that age, aren't we?
Yeah. Honestly, I'm happy with underwear, so that's what I ask for every. I mean, underwear's gotten to be $40 a pair, so it's one of those things where the little things in life really start to matter.
I got my sister a 12-pack of socks, and she loved it.
Yep.
It's those things. What is your favorite Christmas gift of all time, if you have one?
Coho 590s. Never forget it. In Minot, my grandma's my dad's house. They were the Patrick Waugh version, and yeah, it's just one of those things. I guess as a goalie, it's like, they say when you get new pads, it's like Christmas. But yeah, I'll never forget that when I got my Cohos. I was probably 13, maybe 14, somewhere in there. But yeah, it was definitely legit.
So you never got a full goalie set for Christmas?
Well, I got pads and glove and blockers. So that was back then. I mean, yeah, obviously it was. Yeah, I think you look at it probably now, and you're just a snot-nosed kid, and you're expecting everything, and you look back, and my parents obviously did a lot for me as a kid, and especially being a goaltender. It's extremely expensive, and now it's even more expensive. But was really cool to get those pads.
All right, Layne. Good luck in your parents' home city in Minot this week.
Thanks, Corey.
Players coming up on the Bobcats Coaches Show in just a moment on Super Talk 1270. All right, welcome back to the Bobcats Coaches Show on Super Talk 1270. Bobcats getting set to take on Minot tomorrow and Friday in Minot, Saturday, New Year's Eve here in Bismarck. Got a couple of rookies on the show, and Nolan, Nenow, you're making your first appearance on the Coaches Show. How are you?
Good. How about yourself?
Not too bad. First time having you on. It's your first year as a Bobcat. You're the one local kid on this team, sort of. You're from Jamestown, hour and a half away. How's your year been going so far?
It's been going good. I've enjoyed the Bismarck. It's nice to be close to home, especially in your first year away. So, I mean, adjusting wasn't too bad, but it's different. And, I mean, so far it's been great. Like, it's just nice to be close. And, yeah, it's only 100 miles away, which see my family enough to where I don't get too homesick. But it's nice to be home when I'm home, like this break.
Sure. What was it like growing up in Jamestown?
Wasn't a lot to do. It was a lot of hockey. Like, my whole life was hockey. Like, I did baseball and football and golf. I golf in the summers. But other than that, like, I was either stick handling, shooting in my driveway. I have a trick shot account somewhere on Instagram that I used to have, and my buddy and I used to make trick shot videos all the time. And my life was all hockey, knee hockey. Literally just hockey circled my life growing up.
Were you a hockey family or just you?
My mom was a hockey. She actually played hockey in high school, and if it wasn't for my mom, I'd be playing basketball. My dad was a basketball player, so thankfully my mom was into hockey and she won the debate.
Well, can you dunk?
No,
No.
not even close.
Well, you came to Bismarck for Jamestown games in Bismarck. You won WDAs here last year, so you were pretty familiar with the rink, at least to a certain extent, right?
Yeah, it was nice. I already know pretty much the whole town. And I actually lived in Bismarck when I was really young. I don't remember it, but I was like 2 at the time, and I mean now I'm back, so like I never left, I guess.
Yeah, it seemed like whenever you come by for a Bismarck High game, whenever they play and you've got a home game during the week or whatever, some of the guys just know you.
Yeah, I go to their games quite a bit. I have a lot of buddies that play high school still since I'm still there, and every time they're in town, like Red River was in town today. I went and talked to a whole bunch of players after practice. All my buddies are on Red River, and I mean all the Bismarck boys I always remember playing against me. So it's fun to just kind of catch up, see how their season's going, and I kind of tell them my experience so far, and it's kind of nice. Yeah.
Are you guys just all buddies, even though you're on rival teams?
I mean, playing against each other, we weren't buddies, but now that I'm off ice, we're all good. Yeah.
Yeah. So being from Jamestown, one of my favorite memories from this year so far was the Jamestown night against Austin, where you started the game, you walked out of the big Bobcat Zeus thing and had that shot in the shootout too, with a whole rooting section and then some in the stands for you. What's it like having local support, all the Jamestown people coming out to see you?
Yeah, that's pretty special. It's always nice to know that your hometown's supporting you. I get it every time, like I'm back home. Everyone, like, no matter how my year's going, no matter how I'm doing, I know everyone back home is going to support what I'm doing because it's for a reason. I have a dream, and I'm going to do anything I want to obviously get my goals. And, I mean, it's just awesome to just have everyone behind your back no matter how you're doing in life.
Are they just watching all your games and following everything you're doing?
Yeah, pretty much for the most part. My parents get texts every day how I'm doing, and they obviously watch all of our games on Hockey TV when they can't make it. So, yeah, everyone kind of keeps notes on how I'm doing.
Is there a lot of pride being a Jamestown kid, the only North Dakota kid on this team playing for the Bobcats?
Yeah, I mean, to a sense, like, it's nice to show that no matter coming from a small town, you can still play junior hockey no matter what. You just got to put the time and effort in. You just kind of being a role model to young kids to keep pushing no matter what.
Did you know about the Bobcats and the junior hockey scene here in North Dakota growing up?
Yeah, I used to go to the games when I was younger, actually.
Really?
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. I was watching their games growing up, and now I'm playing for them. So.
Yeah. So when the Bobcats drafted you in the draft back in June, was that your first time talking to them, or had you talked to Layne before?
I talked to Layne about a month ago, or a month before the draft, and I talked to multiple teams before the draft too. So I was literally expecting to go anywhere, and I seen Bismarck come up, and my name went, and I couldn't have been more happy because I was 100 miles from home. Like, that was the best thing that could have happened to me at the time.
So you didn't get a call or anything. It was watching the draft ticker online, and your name came up.
Yep. I was watching the draft ticker that day, and Layne had called me before, kind of, watch out, you're on our draft board. We're probably going to take you. And I was like, okay, but I've heard that from a lot of teams, so I was kind of expecting, honestly, anywhere. And I'm so glad Bismarck was the one that took it because I'm nice to be close to home, 100 miles away. I couldn't have asked for anything better.
How much have you gotten better from game 1 to now 26 games in?
I think I've gotten way better. Like high school hockey in North Dakota, I loved every second when I was playing it, but it's not it's not junior hockey. My development in junior hockey's went through the roof compared to like obviously high school just because I'm playing against men. Like it's hard being the young guy coming in with all these 19, 20-year-olds, and it's nice to know that they'll have your back no matter what either, no matter how like slow your development's going or how quick it's going, they're always going to have your back, and they're kind of pushing me every single day no matter what, like even if it's just practice or if it's in a game. Like my development's probably going to be the best it's going to ever be this year in my junior hockey career as it goes on.
Yeah, how much confidence do you have to be the new kid that you're still in high school,
Yeah.
coming in playing with guys who are 2-3 years out of high school and playing with them?
I mean, it's not a huge change. All the guys took me in like family. Like I couldn't have asked for a better team, and my billet family, they were unreal to me too. Like my experience here has been great so far, and I couldn't have like all the support and my family and friends. Like it's been awesome.
So what's your school situation like? Do you have classes remote that you take during the week, or is it all just do it one time?
It's all due at one time, but I kind of work on it at my own pace. So I'm taking my English course right now, and it's all due in March. So a certain date in March, I don't know exactly when it is, but that course will be done, and then I have one more, and then I'll be graduated, and then I'll go back to Jamestown and walk the stage with all my buddies growing up.
Nice. What's your favorite class?
Probably gym.
Gym?
Just kidding. Probably like history or something.
Nice. So you did a Michigan goal against Century a couple years ago that kind of went viral,
Yeah.
right? Have you tried to do it again? Maybe not in a game, but like in practice?
Yeah, I obviously it's just something to dink around with
Yeah.
when you try to do cool stuff, but I haven't tried it in a game since Century.
Yeah. Was that something that you just were like, okay, I'll try it out and hope it works, and you stuck it?
Yeah, I seen it on a few videos across the internet, and then I decided to try it myself, and I seen the time was open. I just kind of did it.
So Minot's got a guy who did a Michigan against North Iowa, Chase LaPinta, one of their best players. If your first career goal is a Michigan, I'm not saying you should try it, but if your first career goal even just comes this week against a North Dakota rival, how cool would that be?
That would be something, especially against a rival like Minot. That'd be really cool to have. But I mean, goal's a goal no matter how it goes in. So
Yeah. And you've come pretty close, too.
yeah, I've had my chances for sure. It's coming.
Yeah. How much does a sellout crowd that we're going to get on New Year's Eve, you've played in front of quite a few of them, what does that mean to have so many fans behind you here in Bismarck, too?
It's awesome. No matter how the game's going, you're always going to have your fans behind your back, no matter big hit, shot, penalty, like power play, and a goal. Like it's a game changer when your fans are there for you.
Yeah. Do you notice that when you're on the bench?
100%. Yeah, it's something to know that your town's behind your back, no matter what's going on in the game.
Awesome. All right, Nolan Nenow, thanks so much.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, Kyle Dahl coming up in just a second on the Bobcats Coaches Show on Super Talk 1270. Welcome back to the Bobcats Coaches Show on Super Talk 1270. Bobcats getting set for Minot tomorrow and Friday in Minot, Saturday, New Year's Eve at home for a 3-3 for the first time this year. Kyle Dahl joining us, Bobcat rookie. How are you?
Good, how are you, Court?
Not bad. Sorry to interrupt your hockey watching there.
Yeah, I know. Some good games on.
What do you have on?
Slovakia versus USA. They just Slovakia won 6-3.
Okay.
So a little upset.
Any Lakeville games going on?
Yeah, Lakeville was playing Moorhead. They were down 2-0, so
That's too bad.
watched that for a little bit.
Well, if they had you, maybe it'd be different.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe, maybe not.
So we talked to you back in the first week of October, and then like 3 days later, you scored your first career goal. Maybe some good luck here. You haven't scored since. You've come close. How about that goal? I mean, that was a top play of the week in the NAHL, one of our top plays all year. You know, beating that D-man wide and cutting on goal and beating a fellow Lakeville guy in net for St. Cloud.
Yeah, I can't really make it up. It was like a Cinderella story, you could say. But no, it felt good to get the first one.
Did you know Dahlmeyer from back home?
Yeah, I've played against him growing up, so it felt good to get it against him.
Yeah. Are you like buddies with Lakeville South guys or not really?
No, nah. I mean, depends who, but especially on the ice, don't like him very much.
Yeah. So was your phone just blowing up after you scored that goal?
Yeah, I had a couple of buddies text me, so it was good that it was against a rival.
That's nice. So Lakeville North and Lakeville South, when you two meet up, what's it like on the ice?
I mean, every time you can throw away the records. It's going to be a close game every time. On a Tuesday night, there's a couple thousand people there selling out the rink, and I mean, I get nervous for those games more than I do here. So, I don't know, super competitive, a lot of penalties, which is expected, but those are the games you look back on, and we're like, those are the most fun I had.
I was going to say, it sounds like us playing Minot.
Yeah.
Throw the records away, a lot of
Yep.
penalties, a lot of chippiness, sellout crowds every night.
Yep, very similar.
What's it like playing a rival team here?
It's a lot of fun, especially I like playing in Minot. They get a good crowd, and it's a nice rink to play in. And their fans are loud, so it's fun to score there. Shut them up a little bit, but yeah, it's good.
So when you skate down the tunnel after a period there in Minot, it's off to the side. The fans in those aisle seats, the first 5 rows, will have some words for you if you're down.
Yeah, they will.
Are those like your favorite fans to silence in this league?
Yeah, it's fun scoring, and next time you go or winning, go through the tunnel, they're not saying anything, so that's the fun part about it.
So you're on the fourth line. You're a fixture on the fourth line as the center right now with, now it's Holte and Valks. So previously Cal on that line, also Nenow too.
Mm-hmm.
Is this your first time playing on a fourth line ever?
Yeah, I'd say it is. Normally I'm not, but I've adjusted to it and just doing the best I can.
Have you adapted your play style? Have you adapted at all to play on the fourth line?
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to play my game, but I've definitely adjusted to the pace, and I mean, each day is getting better, and just trying to fit in and help the team.
Layne called you like the hardest worker on the team, or one of the hardest workers, back in September when talking about the rookies. How you'll just go to the boards without fear. Does that take time to get the confidence for, or was that right away for you?
Yeah, I mean, I've always kind of grown up playing like that. I was always a smaller guy growing up, so I always had to use my body and just kind of play more physical to stay in it. So when I got here, I was kind of just like, well, I've always been this way. And, I mean, now I'm not the smallest guy, but kind of just use that aggression and just, I don't know, use that to my game. And I know I used it right away, so try not to back down to anybody.
Even a 6'4" guy in the corner, you'll take him on?
Yeah, anybody, I'll take him on.
There you go. As for the fourth line itself, no matter who's on the fourth line, you included, it's really not a typical fourth line because everybody on the fourth line can score.
Yeah, I agree.
So what's it like being a fourth line, getting more than fourth line minutes on most nights, and knowing that you guys are on many other teams a second line?
Yeah, no, it's great because, I mean, all of our lines are great, and it's good to have that fourth line role as like a role that can still contribute, not be like your typical fourth line. So it's been good.
Layne sends you out a lot after goals, for or against, after you guys kill a penalty or have a power play for you guys. Do you like being in that role, the momentum getters?
Yeah, after a goal, it's like, well, we can go out there and biggest shift of the game right here, and let's keep rolling and not let them get another one, or let's go get another one. So it's good.
When's your last time playing a 3-3?
Probably, well, besides the showcase.
Yeah.
Last year we had like 2 tournaments that were back to back, so not for a while.
How do you keep the legs fresh?
Me and Patty take ice baths during the week. Massage gun, just drinking a lot of water. I think water's key. And I don't know, just stretching. Make sure to stretch well.
How do you make sure Saturday's not just a lazy dump and chase game? You got to bring the aggression on home ice.
Yeah, preparation, I'd say. Just coming to the rink. Saturday was the last one, so it's like, well, nothing to save it for. So hopefully we can go out there and get a win on New Year's.
Nice. Hunter Laslo's got some new hair you're going to see in a second.
Yeah, I know.
What do you think on that?
Looks good.
Does it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it kind of does, actually.
Depends. It goes good with the beard and the mustache.
Yeah. How was your Christmas?
It was good. Yeah, got to see the family, so it's good to go back, get a little reset.
What'd you get?
Some clothes, some shoes I'm wearing right now. I got some money, which is good, gift cards, so all the good stuff.
Are you at the age where clothes are totally fine, like you want clothes?
Yeah, I'm always a clothes guy. I like getting new clothes.
Nice. All right, Kyle Dahl, thank you.
Thank you, Corey.
You bet. Hunter Laslo joining us on the Bobcats Coaches Show on Super Talk 1270. Welcome back to the Bobcats Coaches Show on Super Talk 1270. Wrapping things up with Hunter Laslo, Bobcat assistant. Cats and Toros for 3 games this week. How are you?
I'm good, Corey. How are you?
Not bad. Love the hair.
Thank you.
When'd you get this?
Christmas.
Nice.
It grew in.
So the sun in Arizona was vitamin D and it just grew your hair.
That's right.
All that.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. But did you have a good Christmas?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
Back home in the freezing Northeast.
Yeah, in wonderful New Jersey.
That's right. The armpit of America, as they say. I disagree. You were one of, I think, 3 people? You, maybe Atch, Garvey for sure, and Layne, that could say they went to a warm destination, that being Arizona, for Christmas.
Yeah, it was a rare one for me for sure. Usually my family's pretty spread out, so normally we like to meet up in some location, whether that's in Michigan where my brother is, and or somewhere else, somewhere random. This year we decided to go somewhere a little warmer. The last handful of years it's been in a cold weather place, so we decided to change it up, and I'm sure glad we did. It was beautiful down there. Got to play a couple rounds of golf and wear some shorts for a change of pace. Left Bismarck, it was -30, and landed in Phoenix, and it was 65 or 67 degrees, so it was a nice little change of pace when I got off the plane.
I'm surprised you didn't wear a T-shirt your first day back here when it was 40 degrees.
Yeah, I mean, I wore one all day until I got off the airplane and stepped back out into Bismarck into the snow and the 50 inches that we have here. So trust me, I didn't want to. I didn't want to accept that I was going back to cold weather, but definitely glad to be back and back with the guys and on the ice and get ready for obviously a big week here.
Did you try to avoid running into Layne when you were both in Arizona?
No, we actually weren't there at the same time. He went right after, or a little earlier than me. He went right after our last game last Saturday, and I stayed a couple extra days here to meet up with my family, and I was only there for a couple of days. He was there a little longer, but he flew back to Bismarck actually the day that I flew out. So no, we did not cross paths, but I don't know if we would have met up down there. It's obviously nice to have a little bit of time away from the rink, and we still communicated basically every day, but nice to have a little time and space.
You know, Layne is so good at just turning his brain off when he wants to and just not working, I guess, taking his Layne-cations. You always have hockey on your mind. Was that the case over Christmas break too?
A little bit, especially when we're just, lounging around, hanging out, for sure. But I mean, on the golf course and stuff like that, you're just trying to enjoy being with some family and whatnot. But yeah, obviously excited for Lennard's being in World Juniors, so trying to follow along with that and watch every time Latvia's on the screen. Hopefully he gets a crack at the net here. But yeah, just thinking about obviously adjustments we need to make and what we need to do to make sure that we come out of this 3-3 with the most amount of points we can get. We can't afford to give away points, and we need to start sweeping some weekends here and climbing the standings.
When you were a player, I'm sure you played a few 3-3s in your time. How'd you approach them?
It's really no different. I mean, you can't attack any game any differently than you would. We have to have somewhat of a playoff mentality here, where we can't afford to give up points. Our division's tight, but we can't afford to drop points. We need to climb the standings, not fall in them. So we just need to be able to be consistent, execute our systems. When we execute our systems and we run our forecheck properly and we move pucks and don't force pucks through the middles and we don't act like individuals and we play as 5 guys on the ice as a line, we're really effective. And if we do that for every game on a weekend, we should be in good shape. It's not expending any extra energy, but we need to compete and be hard. And that's the job on the weekend. I mean, it's a job. Junior hockey's a long, grinding season, and so we just get a nice break. Minot's in the same boat, so we're on level playing fields, and we just need to be the better team over the course of the weekend.
Short week, of course. You get it on Monday. Tuesday's your first practice. Only one player unable to make it on Tuesday, so all the Bobcats got through their flight cancellations okay. But Tuesday practice, Wednesday practice, Thursday morning skate. Then you play 3 games in a row. Does the short week really matter?
Yeah, I mean, you hope obviously the break is a good thing. Obviously, we're in a little bit different situation than everyone else, having a bye week a week before our Christmas break. So we haven't played many games obviously in the last 3 weeks. So especially with the 4 breaks game getting canceled on Friday because of the weather. So we should be ready to go, chomping at the bit, ready to obviously compete and. Obviously, no better rivalry than us and Minot, so should be a fun, exciting weekend. But we need to obviously show up on the road for 2 of them, make sure that we're ready to go when that puck drops, and we don't stop until the final buzzer.
You got to experience your first New Year's Eve game. It was a great game last year, a shootout loss, unfortunately, but Cal ties the game late, great overtime, shootout. You come up just short to Minot in that game. Of course, at the end, Bobcats got their revenge, but a 4-3 game last year in New Year's Eve. Packed to the gills. It's been packed pretty often on New Year's Eve. What was that experience like for you?
Well, it's fun and exciting. It's an atmosphere you want to be able to coach in or play in. Those games are fun, and especially when they're tight ones. It's never fun to play in a full building when it's not going your way, when it's 5-1 or 6-1. But those games are exciting and fun, especially when they're competitive and they're tight. Those games are just fun to be a part of, and it comes down to game of mistakes at that point. And obviously we weren't able to come away with it, but we still got 1 point last year. But this year we'll obviously look to get all the points.
Are those the games where you want to be out there playing again?
I mean, yeah, we're in the cool jerseys and having fans cheer for you. Obviously that's the coolest part about playing hockey is having a great fan base, and we're one of the few teams in the league that have a loyal, committed fan base and show up for us game in and game out. So, it's definitely a fun environment and a cool setting for our guys, and we need to obviously use that home crowd energy to feed off that and make sure we take that momentum in our corner, especially on Saturday. But Minot has a pretty fun barn to play in too, so we'll obviously look to use that energy too.
Yeah, all 3 games are going to be sold out this week in Minot and here in Bismarck on Saturday. I had a friend watch the Minot game a couple weeks ago, and what he was impressed by, and I know you're impressed by this too, was how much time and space, which is very little, the Bobcats, when they're rolling, give the opposing team in all 3 zones. How much pride do you take in that?
Yeah, I mean, we like to play an aggressive style, and that if you play it correctly, obviously limits time and space, and we stay tight on our gaps on entry, which forces dumps and forces turnovers. And so, yeah, I mean, when we execute that, and obviously like that game back in Minot where we didn't give them much, obviously it makes you proud. You're happy with that. It's what you've been preaching. It's what you've taught in terms of your systems, and when it gets played out in front of you, it's a good feeling, and obviously builds confidence and some morale and mojo in the group. So, it's definitely a good feeling. But, again, kind of sound like a broken record. The key to that, though, is doing it every night and being consistent, which hopefully now that we're in the second half of the year here, will be the key.
How impressive is that achievement of being so hard on your sticks when you're doing well, and consistently too, hopefully, when it's a team that's not big and more of a skill-based team on paper to play that way?
Yeah, I mean, I think no matter what, I mean, if you're at the top of the standings, maybe that's different. You can afford to maybe take a night off or so, but we're sitting at the bottom, very similar to last year, only not so similar, much tighter. We've played much better earlier in the year. Some of them, some games we've deserved points in that we haven't got. I thought our effort's been good as of late, but we got to play like our backs are against the wall, right? We need to make some strides here in the standings, and it can happen quick over the course of a weekend. A lot can happen when you get 4 points, or in our case here, 6 points on the line. So it's a big weekend. We need to just make sure that we show up and play as consistent as possible, execute our special teams, lock down our penalty kill, stay out of the box and stay disciplined. And if we do that, I think on any given night we'll win the hockey game. But that's the key, is you just got to do it. We can say it as much as we want, but we got to when those guys put the skates on and put the helmet on, it's up to them. Layne and I can't put on the skates. We can't do it for them. We're there to support them and help them along the way, but we need to be the better team this weekend.
Hunter Garvey in goal all 3 games this week. Lennart Slipskis with Team Latvia in the World Junior Championship in Eastern Canada. So it's Garvey for 3 nights in a row, and maybe in the games in North Iowa too, so 5 in a row potentially for Garves. Nothing he hasn't done before. Any concern at all there?
No. When we obviously went out and got Garvey in the trade for CJ, we did it for a reason. He's proven himself in the league. Obviously, he stole some points from us last year down there at their place, obviously when he was in North Iowa, and I think it'll be good. We know he can compete every night and gives us a chance. I think we have a really, really, really good 1-2 punch with Lennart's and him. I think there's some good competition there too for who's going to have the net each night. And Garvey's got a really good opportunity here, obviously, with Lennart's and World Juniors, where it's his net and it's his opportunity here to make the most of it. So I'm confident in Garvey, both of our goalies. So I think we'll get a good result out of him, or a good effort, and we just got to be able to play in front of him.
All right, Laz, we'll talk to you tomorrow.
Thanks, Corey.
All right, that's all for the Bobcats Coaches Show on Super Talk 1270. Again, the Bismarck Bobcats are on the road in Minot tomorrow night at 7 o'clock and on Friday at 7:35, both games on Super Talk 1270, as well as New Year's Eve on Saturday in Bismarck, Saturday, December 31st, 7:15 puck drop as usual, post-game fireworks show, post-game jersey auction, and more. Tickets on sale at BismarckBobcats.com and on the free Bismarck Bobcats mobile app. So long from the Tap-In Tavern. This has been the Bismarck Bobcats Coaches Show on Super Talk 1270.